Psychic Holistic Spotlight. I'm your host, Josie Way, and tonight co-hosting with me is Kathy Costa, and our guest is Marden Pride, and he does something special. He makes copper pyramids and dowsing rods. I'd love to ask you, what got you started with this?
That's a great question, and firstly, thank you all for inviting me here, and the crew as well for putting up with me. I was up in Maine, living in a house. I went to a very sensitive psychic lady who had all kinds of things. She was storing one that was very elemental, and she knew enough to give me these 4 copper pipes that were drilled at the top with just a wire. And she says, "Here, we think you know what to do with this." Excuse me? So I opened it up in her place and I set it up. People started to use it, but I knew just because it was a copper wire that just like this, there was no base. It was just wire tied together. I'm like, no, there's got to be something better. And I didn't like the fact that it wasn't connected at the bottom, and it was very loose. So I started working on making one better. And after that, I just improved it so that it's portable. For a full-size pyramid, it's portable.
Yeah.
What did you mean by the pyramid was elemental at that woman's house?
It wasn't really complete, was it?
Right. It was
Okay,
just,
that's what you meant. Okay,
all
the
it
spots of it.
was
Okay.
was 4 tubes.
Okay.
You just open them up, and nothing here. This is, as best as I can do, this, ladies and gentlemen, is an exact copy of the one in Giza. They knew what they were doing. I'm copying their expertise. This has to be 51 degrees and 51 minutes angle to match the one in Giza. If it's that, not that, it's a different design, but this is the most powerful. You can make it out of other material as well, but this is the most economical way. If I wanted to sell my car, I could make one out of gold, but I'm not. So, in order to maximize the power of any pyramid, you want to make the flat side face magnetic north. Otherwise, it degrades the performance. The one in Giza is off by a disgustingly small amount. That's 2.3 million stones, tons each, placed exactly. Now, what the people are not familiar with is when they go to visit, it's so heavy that the foundation was also superiorly designed to handle that kind of weight. As a member of the For What It's Worth Club, that pyramid has some openings and some places in it, but I feel very much that there's a lot more in there.
Yeah.
A lot more yet to be discovered. But my recent homework has been with Shirley Andrews, who wrote about the Atlanteans. And Shirley Andrews is just, the whole book is all about Atlantis and what happened in extreme detail. So if you go back in time and start looking at possibly when the pyramid was made, it was the Atlanteans, in my opinion, that had the know-how. They were doing levitation. They were doing expert construction of things that we won't know about for a long time. They were at peace with Mother Nature. These people are the best candidates for the ones that were involved in the assembly of the one in Giza. So, in order to make a pyramid that worked, I copied that one. And these are the same. I make the smaller ones or the bigger ones. But what is this really? This is only half of one of the sacred geometry shapes.
Oh,
Okay? This plus this
yeah.
makes one of them.
Yes.
So they're called the solids, but there are more. There
Yes.
are other ones. But this design captures the life force energy we call chi or prana and brings it in and up into here. This area here is called fire in the middle, which is another word for pyramid. This is where the center of the energy is. And there's been photographs, especially on my website, in which you can detect the energy going up. Giza is actually switched off. They took their toys and went home. There's only a part of it around,
Right.
well, part that you see. But if you'd like to see one or read about one that's operational, you need to look at the one in Bosnia. There's one called Pyramid of the Sun, and it's working. That is to say, there is a signal ascending from that pyramid.
Wow.
And it's been detected by many scientists all over the world, brought in by the man who found it. Why is that so? It's because there is crystals in the ground underneath, pulling in the energy, and it's going in, and it's going out.
Have they followed it to see where it's going? Or it's impossible to do?
I haven't read anything further about whether that energy stays focused or whether it dissipates up, but it is energy flow. Yeah. And right now he's making tunnels and he's trying to experiment with it. But it can't stop there. Bosnia has 2 more, and they're exactly 30 degrees apart. And they're bigger than the one in Giza. They're buried. They have earth all over them. So your homework assignment is to check out that pyramid in Bosnia. Spectacular. However, the full-size one I have is the same as this, the same angle. And the copper is all attached together, so it's one unit like that is. And I've found over time, bringing it different places to shows, people are enjoying it. There is positive energy. I've had people say to me, "Who are these guys?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He says, there's energy guarding this thing when I bring it to the shows.
Oh.
And the familiar called centurions. Okay, so that's a copper pyramid too, and I have other accessories that can go with it. I was asked by Linda if I populate it with different things, and I do not. It's good just like that. And most of the people who experience it are acknowledging through written scribe afterwards that there is things happening inside. So
Yeah.
So the full scale model, people sit in it, or do they stand? Do they sit on the floor?
well, I put it so that you could put it up high enough to do Reiki in there.
Okay.
If you'd like to, I've demonstrated that, but mostly people sit. They sit
Okay.
in it. I have little bamboo tables that it sits on, and people will step in and actually just relax and sit
Okay.
and feel the energy.
Now, how long is this session for?
It depends on the experience level. If you've been in it a couple of times, then you can go up to 20 minutes. I hang around, and if I feel you've had enough, I'm coming after you
Okay.
to release you out. But 20 minutes max, not for the beginner.
Okay.
And some people are capable of relaxing, but the maximum effort you would get out of any meditation device, especially something like this, is being able to meditate, to center yourself and stay relaxed. And that's not untrue for these. These dowsing rods are energy flow devices as well. And if you're thinking about ice cream, it's not going to work. You want to be relaxed and you ask questions. Sometimes you can get assistance, and sometimes it's just you that are responding. You know, you have to find out what's a yes and what's a no. That's the first thing. You know, please cross them for a yes. Oops, they did that. So that's a yes for some person, or it could be a no for another. Now, like a table tipping, you're going forward to ask yes and no questions for yourself. As a member of the For What It's Worth Club, again, this device is sensitive enough to answer your questions, and it doesn't have to do with just water. It can it can find different things, whatever you set your mind to, whatever you focus on, whatever you relax about. Long answer for one question, huh?
So it seems like, though, that the dowsing rods are similar like to the pendulum work as well, though, too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, they are, but they're more pronounced because it's tough to walk with a pendulum to find the water or to find the electrical line. But with these, you hold them what I call railroad tracks at first, and you get them to relax by you relaxing, and as you move forward, they will respond, which is tougher
Okay.
with
The
a
pendulum, yeah.
to do.
Because it's only one, though, there's two, there's a pair for that.
Yeah.
And there is a Dowsing Rod Society, I think it's New Hampshire or Vermont.
Yeah.
And you can do some reading there. They do wonderful work and very experienced. You can learn a lot about them.
Yeah.
These are all copper, and I have, the sensitivity is good enough because inside here I put a ball bearing. So it moves very freely for
Now, what's the reason for the ball bearing in the
because this is sitting on top of it, and so it'll swing easily.
Oh, okay.
And your question in regards to the length,
Yes. How
Well,
did you decide the length?
I chose a length that makes it a little bit more practical than something too long that takes too much weight to start moving. And this would just make it maybe spin too much.
Yeah.
But when I did a class, I would have the client, the person make it up to this point, and I would take the cutters and say, you tell me where to stop. And 9 times out of 10, it was about here. So I stuck with that. But
So is that
but
is that 10 inches long?
I think
about
this is 9.
9?
Yeah. But typical for Texas people, there's one guy that has them, out to your kneecaps over there. And it's up to you. And when you feel comfortable with them, okay, then that's where we got them.
Now, I've seen other dowsing rods, and I have some myself, that are made of different metals.
Yes.
What's the difference between copper and the others? Is there any significant difference?
No, not
Or is it
necessarily.
just aesthetic?
We're dealing with the body. We're dealing with electrical movement,
Yeah, copper's very good with
impulses,
that.
and what is it that would feel your electric power the most and be economical? So I chose copper, not wood or plastic. You can make pyramids out of whatever you want. Just make sure you get the angle right and you position it correctly. It'll respond for you. But for me, if I was going to do it over and over in public, I want one that has results. And copper is the result.
I have another question. There was one person who built a pyramid, and he said they're not proper pyramids with the four square base. It has to have a triangle base and 3 pyramid forms. What would you say to that person?
I would say if it works for you, absolutely. It's probably more cost effective, cheaper to make one with 3
that's
sides.
true.
But I have more room in this one. When I went to the Onset Church and had open house there, when I set up my pyramid, a lady and a dog sat inside together.
How was the
And
dog?
He was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a triangular wouldn't allow for room
No.
much like that. And if you were going to do Reiki or some type of work inside a pyramid, the smaller one wouldn't be as comfortable for the practitioner to move around.
Yeah.
This is big enough to do that if you put it up high enough and I'm choosing bamboo because they're light and easy to transport.
Yeah.
So, but if you're interested in studying anything about pyramids, they're all over the world and more are being discovered every day. So we know very little about the ones in China because they won't let us.
Yeah.
But there is something special about the biggest one in China. Roman control number 27 is that it has rivers inside and they're all full of mercury. So we can't go in. It's deadly. But that's what's allegedly in that one. We have aerial photographs of the ones in China, and there's many. But all over the world, and by the way, a reporter that's well known is Linda Moulton Howe. And she received information from a reliable source, according to her, and a deathbed acknowledgement that the government has in their possession a pyramid underground, operating underground. It's very far down, so far down that the government built an elevator to go to the base. And it's highly protected and extremely classified. And where is it? Alaska. It's in Alaska. And recently we find that some people that are traversing Alaska are finding that what looks to be a mountain is actually
The pyramid?
looks really close to being a pyramid. So they're all over. Because remember, the Earth now is different than what it was before.
Yeah. So the magnetic shift happened a while
Well,
ago.
pole shifting was one suggestion that made all the ice change locations and all of us as well. But there's something to this particular shape that Mother Nature has decided that gets things done.
Yeah.
This is the basics for lots of things that we see every day in a very small form.
What do you think about other types of pyramids? Not just those, but I saw a salt lamp in the pyramid shape. Do you think it would make it work better, or not? Not. It's the copper that makes it work better.
I'm not really sure, but to answer that, I would take these
The dozen
And
mark?
ask.
and focus on the prana, focus on the chi, think of nothing else, and literally drive those right over the top and see if they change. If they don't change, no.
That won't have an effect.
Right,
Yeah.
do it several times to be sure, but check something else. Try the pendulum on top and see if it's effective for you
Yeah.
or not.
Okay.
If you want to enhance your full-size pyramid, sometimes even the little ones, I'm reaching out now, put it over a ley line. More power. If you look at where Giza is now, it's one of the most significant ley line places on Earth. That's not by a chance. That's not at all. So whoever knew about this, and I'm going to commercial, the man that knew all about this and duplicated as much as possible in Wardenclyffe, New York was Nikola Tesla.
Oh, Tesla.
Mr. Tesla dedicated his life to bettering our planet, and he did it in many ways. And I won't go into all the details, but there's over 1,200 registered patents. You couldn't even have gotten here without his help. The ignition system is his. X-ray. The alternating current, not direct current, he came up with at 60 hertz is what we're using right now to make this presentation. Mr. Tesla built a system in Wardenclyffe, New York, with the same design as the one in Giza. That is to say, there's underground water fissures, moving water underneath both facilities, in Wardenclyffe and in Giza. That moving water makes ions, it makes energy.
Yeah.
And they were using that.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
To
It
amplify the
releases
pyramids?
it. The
Well,
ions.
That's rumor controlled that
Okay.
some people say, yes, that was all part of the formula. There is no markings on the inside of Giza for any pharaoh or anything whatsoever inside that we've ever found.
Okay.
It is not necessarily a tomb.
Right, so if, now you give classes in how to make the pyramids?
I can give classes on how to make them, but what I like to do is to have people come who wish, and I trade them blueberry cheesecake for a session inside.
Okay. So how can people get a hold of you for this?
I have cards, but I said earlier, meditation is very important to get the maximum out of a pyramid. So that's pyramid. So you go to my site that says Pure Meditation.
Parameditation, is it .net?
N-E-T, yes.
NET? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they can get a hold of you through that website.
Correct. There's lots
Okay.
of pictures and lots of what I've been describing here and more
Okay.
there. about different things. And there's a recent thing I'm reading now about a man who took a pyramid and started spinning it and got results of different things happen.
Spinning it upside down.
He turned it on a turnstile, a lazy Susan.
Oh,
was
okay.
making things happen that way. I mean, there's lots of research of interested people to go forward and learn more about it. I think it's in its infancy. I mean, you don't make something like that all over the world just for nothing to do. So it's very important, no matter what you're making it out of. But the materials.
I have a small glass one, and it had a bead to open it up and put something special in it.
There's a gentleman who ships pyramids out of crystal.
Yeah.
Tubes worldwide now. He found a way to do it. Pretty delicate, kind of expensive, but very unique sound that comes from that shape.
During the meditation or when it's just sitting there, though, the sound?
I would say both,
Okay.
but we can't hear it when it's sitting.
Okay.
Because everything is vibrating all the time
Right.
anyway. So it may be at a lower frequency.
But out of our hearing range?
Yes, there's a gentleman that you can watch. His name is Les Brown, and he's gone now, but Les Brown left videos on crystals. And he was absolutely focused on how they provide all kinds of services, knowledge, and energy. So I have clearing crystals inside my large one that clears the energy when a person leaves, so the next one
Oh, that's
doesn't
great.
get other energy
Yeah.
from
What kind of crystals do you use?
selenite. Yeah. But I also you can come and sit and I have a small pyramid cup design here in which you can put your crystal or
Right.
something favorite. And this 6.5 foot device comes apart in 15 minutes. And you won't break a nail because there's no screws or anything like that. It just comes right apart.
So we can save our nails when
You
we're,
can save
when
nails.
we're trying to
And
transport it.
I've had a person come to me and say, look, can you make it so that I can hang it over my bed? So it is. It has a top piece that's separate and that you can hang it, just put it right up underneath with dual hooks and you just put it right up, out of the way. Because I have to vacuum, so I have to get it out of the way.
So how is she able to sleep though with the pyramid?
I
though?
don't know, no, I'm not doing that. That other person is.
No, what I mean is that person sleeping now when they have the pyramid over their bed? Because the
He
energy
asked me to do it, but never came forward to buy it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that answers my question. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
definitely a no for that. Though.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't be sleeping with that.
Yeah, I'm recommending that small or large, try not to have any wires or anything above it. Let the energy flow.
Okay.
Let it just do its thing
So
naturally.
the electrical wires would interfere.
You
And
know,
this, you'll have to try it yourself. I don't want you to believe the bald guy. But this will charge batteries. It sharpens razors. It'll also enhance seeds so that when you plant them, they grow faster.
nice.
At home, I have a larger one in which I put water in, and it helps enhance the water. I have a thing against fluoride. So the pyramid helps me to reduce the fluoride that it's in all our water.
Yeah.
It sets the molecules vibrating, so the fluoride evaporates.
And when the water comes out of the pyramid after a day or so, it is a lot clearer as well.
Yeah. Once again, how can we get in touch with you?
Well, I have the website called Pure Meditation, and I hope to be doing some shows here. Now that we've been released to go normal, to have different shows that
Right.
people can come and actually check it out. So I'm
Right, so
getting
it's
there.
parameditation.net,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Is there like an email and a phone number though, or is this a contact form through the website?
Oh, it's got phone number and emails there
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, through parameditation.net.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
you do build them for other
And
people.
I build them for other people. I can make the smaller ones, but this is most popular, and I can make these as well.
The dowsing rods?
Yes, and my
Okay.
next adventure perhaps is going to be an Egyptian ankh. I want to make one of those out of copper. But how you make that loop without creasing the metal, I'm not sure yet. But that's one of my goals that I'm thinking about. If you look up ankh, it's a really nice symbol that is well engraved all over Egypt.
So it's for meditation purposes?
No, the ankh is a symbology for them
Okay.
as a life and peace.
Okay, so it helps with the life and peace. That's what that
Yeah,
symbol is
and
for?
if you look on the walls, they're all holding this thing.
Okay.
In one of the hands of a lot of them, the gods have it. Why? I don't know. Let's make one and find out.
Yeah. It's always, yeah, that's the next project for you though, so that'd be very interesting when that comes about. So which one was first? Was it the pyramids or the dowsing rods first? Or they just kind of came both at the same time for you?
No,
The pyramids was
this is-
definitely
this
first.
is first, yes.
So how did you get to the rods after?
Well, between the house and the garage, there has to be an electrical wire. Where was that? How do you find that? And so I built these to test that theory. And then I found out there was water as well.
Oh, went through your ground?
There's a water pipe.
did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it wasn't documented. But those found it.
Yeah.
so the town knows where the water's running through now? No, okay. Lip is sealed for that. So it's interesting how we can find out all the secrets though that's in the ground though. You know, I find anything out. So you can do a lot of yes or no maybe questions though with the dowsing rods as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But it takes a moment to settle you and them down in order to make this start normally.
Okay.
So that you get the answers you're looking for.
And you always want to like find out what the yes is, the no is?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
And it's different for each person.
That's right, this way or this way. Or I'm not telling you.
I know though with the pendulum you have to do that each time though, so I was wondering
Yes.
about that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know it does change sometimes with the
And you
pendulum.
want to you have to have your protection first. Both of them, you want to have protection around everything before you do these. to
Okay,
get-
oh, so you
to
don't get
the
any
right-
bad energy,
That's
though.
right, because that can
Yeah.
happen too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, thank you again for letting me answer your
Oh, so
questions.
happy
You
to
got
have you.
copper running through your blood.
Okay.
I think
Wait till a doctor sees that.
It's a lovely metal. I love it myself.
Yeah, so I have to
I,
admit though,
I even like the rose gold that's mixed with it.
Yeah, yeah, to make it that nice shade, yeah. So, I mean, I had gone through one meditation for the copper pyramid. I've been meaning to go back for more, but life kind of gets in the way though, but that was pretty
Well,
intense.
now you know who to call
Yeah, absolutely.
when you want to.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Now,
pretty intense.
have you ever tried them outdoors?
Absolutely. I have a ley
That-
line outside, and full moon, you put them out there, and
Oh,
guess
that
what
must be
happens?
wonderful.
It's stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the full moon
And
energy.
the
yeah.
other thing I'm doing is Tesla's scalar wave technology. I now employ once in a while
What
in the
is that?
pyramids.
What's-
It's a whole new design of a whole new wave of energy that we're not familiar with.
Okay.
That does completely different factors than the type of waves we're familiar with or radio of any kind.
Okay.
This is different stuff.
How's it different?
It penetrates everything. There's something called a Faraday cage. It does not have any. It goes right through that, and it accelerates as it goes. It's strong stuff that is
What it's-
still underdeveloped.
It's still being studied.
Very much, all over.
And it wouldn't be available to the public to.
Yes,
to-
you can
to
buy. I
mess-
bought a little one.
A little one.
Itty bitty, and that's what I tried with. See experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been interesting energy though, huh?
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Inside.
Well, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for the invitation.
And thank you for watching our show. Please come back. And we're on YouTube. Psychic Holistic Spotlight of RI.